Hello, everybody. Anthony Metivier here from magneticmemorymethod.com. Trying something new today. So let me know if you can hear me in the chat, if you can see things going. Not sure why we got two. The chat is ready to display messages, but let me know if you can see that and if you can leave a chat. Doesn't leave much room for my head, but curious if this is going to work. And already looking a little bit tricky and not working quite well. But let me know in the chat. And we're going to talk about 3 Memory Palace training exercises. Push through and see if this new software actually works, makes things more interesting and engaging for you all. And I'll be very, very interested to see how this all works and if it even works. So let me know in the chat if it is working for you, and that would be fantastic to know. If you don't use the chat, then I won't know. And then it won't be as fun of a live stream as these tend to be with less wizardry. So always happy to go back to less wizardry, but we're talking about mental wizardry here with memory palaces that you can use in your mind. So let me know in the chat where you are and how you are doing. And let's see if anything comes up. So I see Daniel is saying yes. He sees the message box twice. And a bunch of people are showing up on the screen. All right, so something's working there. It's just not as big as one would, or it's a little bit too big and not quite as good as it might be. But cool. We'll tweak as we go along. And we see we have Hanafi here in the UK, Kevin in Michigan, and Moro is here. Prakash is here. Aries is here. Good to see you. Hadi is here. Daniel again. Thank you so much. Ooh, I'm so compressed. I'm so squeezed. Have to think about this sizing here. But really, really exciting. And then the cool thing is you could see the chat as we are on live streams. And getting a little bit too sophisticated, maybe because we're actually streaming now, not just to YouTube, but apparently to Facebook as well. And so if you're joining us on Facebook, you should be able to also pop in a chat, and it should show that you're on Facebook and Periscope as well. So that would be really interesting to know if we have any people actually watching on Facebook. And if you're watching the replay, as always, you can also say hello down in the description or the discussion below, and let me know if you have questions after. If you're watching a replay, there's there's no reason to stop the participation. So thank you everybody for participating, and I wonder if I can actually change the size of this chat so that it doesn't take up so much space there. Hadi, thanks for your comment. What do you mean by earlier? Earlier in your day, or later in mine, or earlier in mine? Or let me know what you're referring to with time zone specificity, so that we're able to answer that, if it's possible, in more specific terms. So, wow, exciting. Everybody's here. Thank you for saying hello. And we're going to have a great little session here, even if there's some technical strangeness and some tweaks that need to take place with the chat here, because I'm feeling a little compressed in space, but that's okay. Sometimes in our memory palaces, we are compressed in space as well. Hello, Stefan from Thailand. Thanks for saying hello. All right. So memory palace training exercises. The first one I got for you is the alphabet exercise. And this is, in the free training from magneticmemorymethod.com/YT. And, it's been something that thousands of people have taken, and I highly encourage you to take it if you haven't already. The reason why is because it'll help you unlock a sufficient number of memory palaces so that you're able to have full range of spatial memory working in your favor, because you want to be able to actually be able to use the techniques with skill. And part of the skill is managing multiple amounts of of space, spatial memory, in a way that enables you to actually get the full benefit of the techniques. So the fewer memory palaces you have, the fewer skills you will ultimately have for managing all of the skill of spatial memory. So, and assigning that. So Pat, hello in Thailand. And wow, we've got 2 people in Thailand. So maybe this is a good time for Thailand. Let me know where you are in the world, how you're doing, how you're feeling. And we'll work on having a better chat size next time. And so the first exercise that I got for you is the alphabet exercise. And so what we're going to do is, in a memory journal, ideally in a memory journal, just start with the letter A and then ask yourself, who do I know who has a home whose name starts with A? It can also be the names of movie theaters, bookstores. Like, for example, if we go to D, there's a bookstore here in Brisbane called Dymox. There's a couple of them, actually. And so that would be D. And then I would think, who else do I know? Well, I knew, someone whose last name was Day. So there's a D, and so forth. And what you want to do is progressively create this list. And this is a memory palace training exercise because it's going to help you think spatially, and it's going to help you think spatially through association. So we know that the number one skill in memory training and mnemonics after space, but space is already part of this, is association, associating one thing with another. So what better way to enable yourself to strengthen in this area other than to use association from space and space from association. So today I was thinking about this myself. I revisit this exercise all the time. And one of the things that I do is just go back to it. And then I was thinking today, A. And I thought of Alex, this guy I knew, Alex. And then I thought of his bedroom. And I didn't have this clear picture of it, but nonetheless, I had his bedroom. And so that's one new memory palace, even if it's just his bedroom. And I have a sort of vague notion of where the bathroom was in that apartment. And I remember the staircase. And I remember pretty much the living room, kitchen, enough that I would use the kitchen with some certainty. The living room, not so much. But this is a great memory palace. And that's just from A, right? Then I think, well, Alex, how many grades was I in with Alex in school? And so I don't know exactly how many grades I was in, but I know that we went to elementary school together, and I know that we went to the first high school that I went to together. So there was 8 and 9 for sure, and then 7, 6, and then I'm pretty sure he was around. I think he was in kindergarten with me the whole time, but it doesn't really matter because I can think of the ones that are most strongly associated with him. And so we were in band together, and I remember, I'm pretty sure he played trumpet. And so I just have this distinct memory of grade 6, that classroom, and the band classroom. So this is just unpacking more memory palaces, just with one letter, right? And I also thought of Alan, who's another guy that I know, and I house sat for him for some time. So have a very good view of that house. And so it's just amazing. And then I can think, well, who else do I know from Alan? Because I know 2 of his nieces. I know one of his sisters. And then this constellation of so many more memory palaces show up. They show up just from this exercise. So as you go through the alphabet, pick one person from your list and think about the multiple memory palaces that could come from that person. It's very, very powerful. So Maricella says hello. Good to see you, Maricella. I got to wave this way now. And thank you, Sean, for being here on Facebook. So the Facebook thing is working. Let me know if you appreciate this, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching the replay. The extra effort to get in more places where people prefer to be. And I don't even know if people use Periscope anymore, but I guess we're streaming there now as well. And let me know in the chat if you have questions about this exercise, and if you're excited to go out and try it. So to revisit this, 1, get a memory journal. Do this on paper with your hand. You're unlocking so many parts of your brain because of the 150 plus muscles that will get involved with handwriting. You get to work on your penmanship a little bit, and then you have an instant place to draw these memory palaces that come up, and just keep going from A to B, right? I think of my friend Brad instantly, right? And his parents had a big house, and then I think, well, where else do I remember being with Brad? And then I'm just doing this right now, live with you. I remember he had this white van, and we used to go and we got jobs together, doing sort of landscaping things and whatnot. I remember one time a truck in British Columbia spilled all over the road. It had an accident and it was filled with beer, and there was beer all over the road. I didn't go with him, but he had this cleanup job, and he told me all about it. And so then I can even imagine this semi-trailer truck and turn it into an imaginary or virtual memory palace. Speaking of which, we had on the podcast, and I'll mention this in a moment again, Idriz Zogaj recently, and we talked about virtual memory palaces. So that was quite something, quite fun. And you want to hear that, and I'll mention it again in a minute. But no questions about this whatsoever. Everybody got it. Are you excited for more tips, or just you're done? Let me know in the chat if you're excited, if you're interested, if you're following along, and if you would like for 2 more tips. And just to repeat for anybody who didn't catch this, start with the Memory Palace journal. Start with the alphabet. As you go through it, go through the practice of associating a name with a place, and then try to find more places with that name. Okay? And then go to the next letter. Now, do you have to start with the letter A? No, not necessarily. You could start with any letter, but one of the things about memory palaces is following linear journeys, right? So if you can just have the discipline of going from A to Z, then you're already helping yourself with the practice of linear journey. Because what is more linear than the alphabet, right? It goes from A to Z. And then you go through your mind, through A, find a memory palace for A, and then go to B, and then C, and so forth. And it's really, really fun. And what you find is that you don't have to be so particular all the time. Like, you might get to X and just be like, well, I don't know anyone whose name starts with X. I strangely know 2 people who have Xavier in their name, but I also think of where I saw X-Men movies. I think of where I read or at least read a bit of a book about Malcolm X, and maybe think of where I saw the movie of Malcolm X, and so on. So it's really super simple to just use association. And this memory palace training exercise will help you a great deal. So let's see here. We got some people chiming in. Stefan with a big yes. Tony's here. Hi, Tony. Thanks for saying hello. Love that name, Tony Swords. Awesome. Daniel says, a great idea. Aries Cosmo says, hey, Anthony, in virtual reality, you can build things, memory palaces, to a whole new level. Indeed. And you're going to want to check out, it should be linked on YouTube in the description below, the interview with Idriz Zogaj, and we talk a lot about that. Pavithra says, yep, we are really interested and we want more, Anthony. All right. And very good. So let me know where you are in the world if you haven't yet. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. Boom. Let the robots know that you like this content, that you're engaged. And let's carry on. Well, before we carry on, just to let you know, if you're already in the masterclass, the Magnetic Memory Method Masterclass, there's a new course. It's live. Some people have been taking it, got great, amazing feedback so far. I want your feedback if you're in the masterclass. It's called Visualization Mastery. And what you're going to love about this course is that it really helps you identify where you might be caught up in the art and the act of visualization. So some people struggle with this, and it's because they just don't know what visualization really is, what mental visualization is with the full range of modes. So Dionysus in Brisbane, thanks for saying hello. We're trying for the first time to stream through Facebook, so glad that you're here. Really appreciate it. And the screen is a little bit compressed here, but really appreciate you saying hello. And let me know if you enjoy having this streamed through Facebook in addition to YouTube, this extra little effort, if it is helping you. All right. So, yeah, visualization mastery. So what I do is I take you through the magnetic modes, all of them, and help you go through a number of exercises that will really change what you do with visualization, how you think about it, and enable you to get a lot more out of all the memory palaces you use and all the magnetic imagery. And it's related to a second sort of update that I've been a little bit quiet about, but I've got a lot of feedback about, which is some walk through MP3s that are meditations that help you unlock the magnetic modes as well, unlock your spatial memory, unlock your ability to focus and concentrate. So that's in the masterclass as well. So Vaughn from Dayton, Ohio, really like your show. Thank you for that, Vaughn. I really appreciate the kind words, and really great, and love to know more about what you're doing with your memory palaces. I like Ohio too. I love when people from Ohio show up because I have great memories of Ohio and visiting there. I gave a couple of readings there, and I had a publisher there back in the day when I was still doing spoken word and poetry and whatnot. So beautiful, beautiful area, although I was not in Dayton at the time. All right, so carrying on, the second exercise is the teleportation exercise. And I didn't expect this to be so squeezed in here, but let's see if next time we can get it a little bit more spacious. So the teleportation exercise is really trying to move from the end of one memory palace to the beginning of another one, right? So basically there's different ways to do this, and really don't even bother doing this until you have more than one memory palace, but try to have all 26 of the alphabet. This will be what helps you the most with things like this. But what you want to do, and there's many ways to teleport, and there's someone in the masterclass who's often on our live streams named Adolfo, and he has a really great technique that is in the mastermind group that he shared and explained. And it's sort of, it's the perfect circle, because in the monthly mastermind videos, I share ideas, and then, certain people, they just grab onto them and they innovate on them even further. And then I'm able to innovate my thinking even further. And so he took the magnetic Russian doll concept and turned it into teleportation. So that's really great. But just at a basic level, what you want to do is get to the end of a memory palace journey and then think of a logical leap to the next memory palace. And so that logical leap might be that you're using a bridging figure, for example, that takes you to the next memory palace logically. Or it might be that the A palace, like Alex, takes you to the Brad memory palace, for example. And there might be other ways of doing it. So Michael is here, said he just listened to the Maximizing Memory Palace. So that's the MP3s. Thanks for letting me know about that, Michael. And let me know your feedback. I know that I've been asked now to create more, and I'm just thinking, what would the more MP3 guided meditations be like for spatial memory, for creativity and relaxation? So if you have any suggestions, a wish list of things that that come to mind, then I can put some thought into creating them. And incidentally, by the way, guys, when I do things like guided meditations, it's not just something coming out of nowhere. Not only have I meditated for many, many years and improved my meditation technique, my own practice a lot recently, but I'm also certified as a hypnotherapist with the National Guild of Hypnotists. So when I put that stuff together, it's from training and a lot of practice with self-hypnosis as well, and actually other people. So I've helped people stop smoking, helped people get better at playing pool, all kinds of adventures, and of course as a magician use hypnosis a lot. So that didn't come out of nowhere, but this dot on my head certainly did. Woo! I'm so compressed here. But anyway, I appreciate you guys using the chat, and let me know your feedback on these streams, how to make them better. One way, obviously, to make them better is to get this over. But one of the things, and I'm really thankful for all your patience with these live streams, but you got to take action. So you don't really ever get to see how things work unless you dive in. And it's the same thing with memory palaces. You got to create them and use them to really see how it's going to work. Just like there's certain things you can't anticipate, because this space looked just fine when I was testing, but in action it doesn't. Same thing with a memory palace. Sometimes I make a memory palace and it's like, well, it looked really great in creation mode, but now I need to change it a little bit so that it works in action. And if you don't make that effort, what ends up happening is that the evil Dr. Forget gets hold of you and he takes your soul. And you don't want that. You want to be able to move forward, and you want to be able to have an absolute perfect practice as we go through all the time. So Sindhu is here from India. Thanks for saying hello. Sophia, good to see you. Aries Cosmos has a college starting up in 2 days. Do you have enough time to get ready with the Memory Palace technique? You could get a good running start for sure. I would just dive into the training, make all of your memory palaces that you can, learn how to encode, and then practice decoding. All right, so this is the second teleportation exercise. Obviously, it requires you to have a number of memory palaces to play around with. Just make it logical, make it make sense. As I said, one letter to the next, or bridging figure to the next, and that will help you a great deal. And another thing that will help you in this regard is listen to this episode with Idriz Zogaj. I have the link for you down in the chat below, and highly recommend this. A lot of people have been sharing it around. If you do, click share as well. 33 shares so far. Let's make it 66. Again, the link is down below. Jacob is here from Denver. Thanks for saying hello. And Alberto from Mexico City. He has the course and has been building great memory palace, and it is awesome. Thank you for that, Alberto. It's so great to have you here and letting us all know. Really appreciate that. And yeah, let's move on to the third. Are you ready for the third exercise that I've got for you today? I think that you're going to love this one. And it is, now that I think about it, bringing to mind another episode that I'll need to look the link up for you. Hello, Jacob from Denver. Thanks for saying hello. Great to have someone from Denver. I'm assuming that's Denver, Colorado. I've not been to Denver, Colorado, but I've been to Fort Collins, and love that place. Love that place. I have fond memories and material for memory palaces from Fort Collins. So thanks for being here. Let me know if you're ready for the third memory palace training exercise that I have for you. And this is going to be something that's going to help you a lot. And I want to share with you another resource that you can use to go further with this particular exercise, because we got more resources for you. As always, there's more for those who want. And of course, the meaning of all this is up to you to make it meaningful by putting it into practice, by making this real and prevalent to your mind, by diving in, taking action, and allowing yourself to get the results from action, and really not expecting anything to take place if you don't get in and do something. I kind of think of it like swimming. You can't possibly swim without diving into the water. It's just not going to happen. So that's a really important principle to understand. I guess if I put these into all of the little Facebook places, they're going to show up in all the little Facebook places, but that's okay. Really like to experiment and enjoy. Richard is here from a pension actuary from Florida in the United States, and have found the Memory Palace technique invaluable in keeping up with law changes. Thanks for sharing that, Richard, and thank you for your work in this area. I mean, I don't fully understand what a pension actuary is, but it seems very important. I'm assuming it has something to do with helping the older generation make sure that they're getting their due. But for this third exercise coming up, I want to also highlight an interview with John Graham. I had this idea independently, but it is something he's also talked about, and we talked about on the Magnetic Memory Method podcast. So I've shared that link with you as well, and I'll have to think about how to make this also share on Facebook. Although perhaps these things do already share on Facebook somehow. Just learning. But the reason why you want to listen to John Graham is because he also talks about this independently, and really appreciated some correspondence with him ever since. And I really want to support his own initiatives to teach people. So to tish people, that's German for table, isn't it? Tish, yep. But also to table people. Anyway, he's a really great interview, so I want you to have that, and I'm posting that all over for you all who are watching. All right. So basically, one of the things that you can do to really help your memory palace training is to give yourself barriers, to give yourself things that make it harder so that you're stretching more. You don't want to overdo this, but one of the things that you can do is listen to loud music or be in crowded, noisy environments. So before that, I went and competed, and I didn't do this on purpose. It was just actually kind of something I was experimenting with, not really expecting that it would come in handy because I wasn't expecting to compete the one time that I did compete, but I'm very glad that I did. Long story, we'll save it for another time. But I did really well, and I think one of the reasons why I did so well, even though I was hungover and filled with pain and jet lag and all this jazz, is because I had done these exercises where I was memorizing cards on trains with loud Slayer. I always listened to Slayer when I was doing it, and in cafes that were really loud with the streets, trying different ways of using impromptu memory palaces in the place. And I found that struggling through this made it so much easier. So I thought of it like wearing a concrete backpack while doing push-ups. So like obviously if you build that and then you go do normal push-ups, the normal push-ups are going to be so much easier. So this exercise, what I suggest that you do is you go out into a cafe with your memory palaces, pick something to memorize, something maybe easy to begin with or challenging. It's up to you. Like I said, I did this with cards. And then you'll find that you'll be able to sit there and practice with noisy music, people walking in and out of your field of vision, and you'll be so much better when you actually do it in what I would normally recommend, which is quiet, uninterrupted, so you can focus and so forth. But your concentration, your focus, your encoding, and your decoding muscles will be so much stronger precisely because you have spent this time in an isolated environment and enabled yourself to be able to do it when you're distracted. And your muscles for when you're not distracted will be so much more strong. So let me know if you have questions about any of this and give it a try. So Aries says, hell yeah, metal up, brother. Indeed, indeed. We got to get both our little puppet friends here, the evil Dr. Forget and Edgar the Elephant, and they will say, metal, yeah. There we go. Great. So that's all I got for you guys today. A couple of exercises. Let me know in the chat if these are interesting to you, if you're going to go and put them out there. And if you're not, well, let me know why you're not, because I think it's pretty, well, it's up to you. I'm not going to say if it's crazy or insane if you don't, but you're going to get the most out of it if you do. And if you don't, then you're not going to get anything out of it, because the whole thing is to take action. And the number one lesson here and the number one exercise really is if you don't have at least 26 memory palaces, get 26 memory palaces. It is so profound what this practice will do for you if you give spatial memory its due. So if you don't know how to make memory palaces, get the free memory improvement kit at magneticmemorymethod.com/YT and allow yourself to just complete that exercise and come back to it again and again and again until that you do have this. It's really, really so important. And you don't have to take my word for it, because these episodes, we're always talking about multiple memory palaces and how important it is to have multiple memory palaces. You're cheating yourself if you don't, because spatial memory is exactly what all of the techniques are. They are located in space, one way or the other, to the left, to the right of each other. Pegs, major, whatever it is that you're talking about, they are linear in space in some way, up, above, down, below, and so forth. So you've got to absolutely have enough. The other two exercises from today, they're just not going to do nearly as much for you if you don't first have the memory palaces in place. So go to magneticmemorymethod.com/YT to grab these this training, so you know what to do, you know how to do it, and you have the foundation. And let's see here. Aries says that works with focus too, like trying to read with TV playing. Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. No, 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 no. I don't think watching TV, reading while watching with the TV playing is a good focus exercise at all. I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about training your memory. And you don't want to put a barrier between reading and this is not what I'm talking about at all. So, interesting comment. Thank you for that. But it's not like trying to read with TV playing. It's not at all because you're not trying to read. You're trying to remember information and you're trying to build a skill and you're trying to actually remember what it is regardless of the circumstances around there. Reading is a different thing. Reading should be protected. It's just a holy thing. And you can extract what it is you want to memorize and practice memorizing in noisy environments with what you want to memorize. And it's not just memorizing, but also recalling in noisy environments. Highly recommend that. But no, 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 no. No one here is suggesting ever reading with distractions on. That is not an exercise. That is that's a devaluation of what reading is. Reading, as I learned in school, was USSR, uninterrupted, sustained, silent reading. And let's keep it that way, please. All right, Asen says, thanks from Mississauga. Wow, Mississauga. Well, I've spent my time in Mississauga, either going through it from Brampton to York when I used to live in Brampton. Thank God that I finally got to move into the city and be closer, but I know Mississauga well. Hadi says, perfect tips, thank you. Jacob says, the third exercise is like tempering your focus by putting yourself in stressful situations. Sounds very interesting. Yeah, and one of the things that happened is when I went to compete, it was stressful. Like, I'd never been at a competition before. I never really knew the rules, didn't expect people with cameras walking around, didn't expect people walking around at all. I thought it'd be quiet, heads down, let's go. Didn't have sound canceling earphones as some people have. And what it ended up doing is, like, it just made me stronger in every regard because I go to noisy places, memorize the names of all people. Sometimes I mishear them or whatever, but you can get laser sharp focus. And if you ever struggle to memorize names and so forth, like if you're at business meetings or parties, then a perfect way to practice is to practice memorizing things with noise around. So that's very, very, thank you for that comment. Maricella says, teleportation, for example, STC library, second floor to use for more life and health insurance. Yeah, that sounds like a great example. Thanks for processing it into your own words and sharing. And obviously you are in the mastermind group, so you can look up some of Adolfo's testaments of what he's done there. Always very interesting what you all are doing, and we can talk about it more in the dojo with some specific reference. Sophia says, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Sophia, for being here and your engagement. Blurple Belt. Love that name. Blurple Belt. Awesome. How many stops per memory palace? That is something to explore in the free course at magneticmemorymethod.com/YT, and I think you'll enjoy the answer. Maricella says, my big challenge is the noisy places. Normally I try to avoid. That's fine too, but I would just say to get a deck of cards, get a list of words, get a list of names, whatever it is, and go in there and give it a try to challenge yourself and see the difference. If it doesn't do anything for you, then obviously desist. But I recommend doing it. I'm still feeling like celebrating the recent 19K subscribers. And since Maricella is here, let me thank Maricella for all her support, getting a Magnetic Memory Method cup to support the show. If you want to support this show, get a cup. Let me support you. Everybody who sends me a pic with one of their memory palaces, they'll get a free video as well. And that's at magneticmemorymethod.com/swag, SWAG. And there's a little secret in that as well. It's not just clothes. Here's Barry with his, and Adolfo, of course, sent his. Very ninja with a ninja. Yeah. All right, so let me see here. Cigar says, how can magnetic memory methods be used in medical subjects? Great question, Cigar. Thank you for that. Thanks for being active over on Facebook. So it depends on what we're talking about with medical subjects. If you have more specific questions, let me know. But in general, if you have terminology, for example, you can create a memory palace for terminology. If you've completed the alphabet, well, then you can organize those terms in a alphabetical way. So A terms can go in an A palace, M terms can go in an M palace, and so on. And what that ends up helping you do is use bridging figures so you can follow the steps through the memory palace. And like Blurple was asking how many stops per memory palace. Well, one of the things you'll learn to do is have as many stops as you need, right? And think strategically. Every ounce of strategy you put into the practice pays off massively for the precision and the efficiency of what you're wanting to do. So you want to think that way. Now, in medical subjects, you also have things like medicines, which have the primary effect of the medicine, and then they have a number of what do you call them, side effects, right? So you often have decision trees to deal with, and there's means for doing that. So once that you have a memory palace network, in the FAQ section of the masterclass, there's a whole thing about decision trees and different things about anatomy and so forth. So there's many options. You've just got to have the skills first, and then you got to, one of the skills of memory is strategy, figuring out how you're going to strategize, and enabling yourself to see how to strategize from a position of being a skilled person with these techniques. And so that is a hugely important consideration to keep in mind. And so dive in, make sure you got 26 memory palaces. The free course will help you do that. If you haven't taken it, dive in and take it and complete it. Look forward to seeing your homework, which is a little in joke. If you have taken the course, you know what I mean. Maricella says, thanks, Anthony. I will create more memory palaces, but I create not only from places, but from things like dresses, flowers, shoes, hats, humans. Yeah, I've seen some of your drawings. Amazing what you're doing, as long as it works. There's many options. Flowers can be memory palaces too. This coffee machine can be a simple memory palace. That's what happens when you understand that all memory techniques are inherently spatial in nature. You're able to do all kinds of wonderful things. Wunderbar. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Again, if you don't have the free course, go to magneticmemorymethod.com/YT. If you want to support the show, one easy way to do it is get the free course, but also to get a cup so I can support you further with a special free video at magneticmemorymethod.com/swag. All I got to do is see your image with your cup, or, you know, Adolfo's breaking the rules a little bit, but we went with that anyway because it was pretty cool how he did it. Vivek is here. Hello, Vivek. Great to see you. What can I say? It's been a great session. I hope these 3 pointers helped you. I'll stick around for another 4 minutes if any questions you want to pop in. Thanks to everybody who is joining us also on Facebook. Love your feedback on how these things are going. You can always participate in the discussion below after a session. Any links that you need, just ask for them. We'll make sure you get them. There's many resources on the podcast, of course, on the blog. And there's no reason why anybody can't get the results that you're looking for. So the question always is if you want to use memory techniques, why aren't you doing it? It's really easy. So to review, we had exercise number 1. Make sure that you use the alphabet. It's a simple exercise. Come back to it. Don't get stuck. Don't get hung up on it. If you can't think of something for D, go to E. Then come back to D later. Often what you can't get today, you'll get tomorrow. And you just keep revisiting it. Like I shared, I found new memory palaces, even though I already have many memory palaces. Listen to the supplementary interviews that I've shared today. I also got to share the one with Nelson Dellis because he and I talk about the necessity for multiple memory palaces. I'm just going to search my site here. There's a couple episodes with Nelson in one way or another. But the most recent one I'll share with you, he and I talk about just how essential it is to have multiple memory palaces. And you're going to find it too. Very important. Jacob says, thanks, much appreciated. Well, thank you for being here, Jacob. Really appreciate that. Alberto, thank you too. And Christian's here. Good to see you, Christian. What do you think of the new style? I feel a little bit cramped in here, but we are also on Facebook, it seems. Kuhn says, what type of free course or video is offered? So the free course, thanks for that question, Kuhn, is very simple. 4 videos and 3 little ebooks that walk you through everything. And all you got to do is dive in and take action, complete it. So this alphabet exercise that we talked about, it's there for you, and it is going to take you through the individual little steps that are needed in order to make sure that you have a sufficient number of memory palaces. And so really, the only reason why somebody would not have enough memory palaces is because they're just not completing the exercises. So let me share that link for you. All you got to do is sign up, register. You will start getting the videos and the worksheets. And it's going to take you through everything. And all you got to do is participate. And we've just had so many wonderful success stories throughout over the years. And obviously, there's many, many more things to explore. Let me see if I can quickly paste that for our Facebook audience as well. And kind of excited about the possibilities of having people on Facebook engaged as well. And so far, it seems to be working pretty good, even though I was cramped on the screen way too much. And again, you can always, if you're watching the replay, make use of the chat when you are making a comment afterwards if you need any links and so forth. So really, really interested to see if the Facebook people will be as amazing as the YouTube people are, which I'm pretty sure they will be because all humans are awesome. But let me know your feedback. Christian says, looks sharp. Thanks for that feedback, Christian. Appreciate that very, very much. And we do this for you. This is a public service for people. Obviously, we want to interest you in getting more involved with the Magnetic Memory Method community. We have an amazing family. Christian's in it. Marichella's in it. And I see some other people here as well. Michael mentioned that he saw the maximizing the Memory Palace Maximizer MP3 guided walkthroughs. So there's so much more. And, everything can be done at your own speed, but I say to you with all of the magnetic love in my heart, do it with speed. Get it done. Get it done. This is a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life. And it will just get better and better and better the more that you use it. It's a mental adventure that never ends and enables you to really connect so deeply with what you really are, which is memory itself. So that's it for today. But until we have a chance to speak again, if you're new here, get subscribed to this channel. Hit the thumbs up. If you're not new here, come visit me at magneticmerrymethod.com. And until we have a chance to speak again, keep yourself magnetic and take good care. Mwah! Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.